AI into that, into the learnings, into the curriculum, etc., so that you can make sure that our folks that are going through these programs are actually prepared for the jobs now and those of the future as well. In terms of Microsoft and Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, Microsoft empowers people and organizations. They create a lasting impact. They support social good, right? LA County Economic Development Corporation, our biggest thing is really driving equitable growth here across the region. LADC has been around for 40 plus years. We serve all of LA County, all 100 plus unincorporated areas, and we are very, very heavily entrenched in the type of work and the type of sectors that we're looking to grow here across the region. And so having these types of competitions, having these types of initiatives and programs, it really serves as a platform to really enhance and elevate all the wonderful innovation that's happening here in our region, right? And so that's why we're here today, is to really put some action behind a lot of the things that we say. And so without further ado, what we will now do is actually get into the pitch competition. And so what I would like to do, because our wonderful judges are already here at the front, I'm just going to shortly read their bios because we got some amazing judges that will be judging the pitches here today. So first, we have Casey Rouser. So Casey, please Cassie, sorry. Please raise your hand. Dr. Cassie Rouser is a climate and sustainability strategist who works at the intersection of science, policy, and community to co-create implementable solutions for a livable and equitable world. As the Los Angeles Climate Fund advisor for CivLab, who's a great partner of ours as well, she supports place-based, community-led strategies for climate resilience across the region. Through her consulting practice, she partners with nonprofits and community-based organizations to provide strategic planning, grant development, stakeholder engagement, and climate policy expertise. Dr. Rouser received her BS in biology from Arizona State University and her PhD in ecology and evolutionary biology from UC Irvine. Please put your hands together for Our next judge is Matthew Morenon. Yes, I think I got it. Is the head of investments at Sustainable Ocean Alliance. He is a marine scientist, entrepreneur, and conservation leader based in Venice, California. He also serves as the co-founder and CEO of Colossal, a nonprofit dedicated to ocean exploration and conservation, where he leads innovative expeditions such as Hunt to Film Colossal Squid in their natural habitat and champions grassroots environmental efforts. Matthew directs the Ocean Initiative at X Prize Foundation, overseeing a decade-long commitment to launch high-impact prizes aimed at fostering healthy and valued oceans. He holds a master's in marine biodiversity and conservation from UCSD and a bachelor's in environmental studies from Miami University, Ohio. Matthew's work bridges science, technology, and storytelling to inspire public engagement and policy action for ocean protection. Give your hands for Our next judge sat on the panel with this one, Mr. Eric right here. Eric Lee is a senior vice president at Align Climate Capital, an asset manager investing in companies and real assets, driving the clean energy transition. He leads the firm's environmental, social, and governance diligence and reporting, investment impact assessment, and investor relations. He ensures that Align integrates ESG and impacts principles across its investment strategies and portfolio management. Eric holds a BS from Cornell University and an MS in sustainable management with the concentration in sustainable finance from Columbia University. He is based here in the Los Angeles office. Please put your hands together for Eric Lee. And then our last judge, and I'm going to try that again, Dave DiCappo. So sorry, sir. Serves as a CEO and executive director of the Alliance for Southern California Innovation. The Alliance, a nonprofit founded in 2017 to strengthen Southern California's innovation ecosystem by convening the region's top research institutions, business leaders, and world-class advisors. The Alliance works to bridge critical gaps and create the optimal conditions for breakthrough innovation to thrive. Learn more at alliancesocal.org. They actually have a pillar back in there, a stand-up along pillar back in the back as well. A serial entrepreneur for over 2 decades, Dave has spent the past 10 years as a lead investor and consultant with BioCore RX Inc., a publicly traded healthcare solutions company pioneering treatments for alcohol and opioid addiction. He holds a Bachelor of Science and degrees in economics and political science from the University of Wisconsin and Madison. Please give your hands for Dave. So as you can see, we have some really talented and great judges that are going to be judging our panels here today. And real quick, I just want to have you all to take out your phones and scan these QR codes. We have 3 different reports that are from our Institute of Applied Economics in partnership with other regional stakeholders. The first one is the LA County California Jobs First Regional Plan. LAEDC, as many of you know, we are the regional convener for the California Jobs First process here in LA County. And through that process, we generated this regional plan, which highlights key priority sectors and other validated information to actually provide strategies and solutions that you all should actually take heed to here in LA County. There's an abundance of information in that document, so I would encourage you to take a look at it and leverage it, because it has also been adopted by the EDA as a comprehensive economic development strategy covering all of LA County. The second report is the Book of Green Jobs report. As we talk very clearly about the clean and renewable energy space and green jobs, this actual report delves deep into that sector and identifies key jobs, occupations, other labor market information, etc. And then the last one is the Blue Economy and Climate Action Report. This is a partnership that we have in addition to Santa Monica College, Alta C, our partners here, as well as West LA College and many others, who all came together to really help craft what we wanted to see in this report. So I would actually take a look and make sure that you scan that QR code and download that report as well, because it'll give you some really in-depth information about the blue economy ecosystem here in our region, and then also climate action pathways. All right, so without further ado, let's get to the competition. And so Luella is going to come up. And Luella is an intern with the LAEDC. Thank you, Luella.
We're really excited to get started. So we're going to be going in alphabetical order. And our first contestant is Ares Hydronics. So, yeah.
And so while they get started, just a friendly reminder, please definitely encourage all of our pitch competition folks here today. Each one is going to have 5 minutes to do their pitch, and so it should be exciting. It's kind of like Shark Tank, guys. So let's get it.
Hi, I'm Helene Cornell, and I've been in the construction industry for 20 years. And I have really seen LA County fail our construction housing workforce short. After a disaster, it's not just the houses that burnt down, it's critical infrastructure such as schools, hospitals, that we need to start rebuilding LA. And I am disappointed of how we've been serving our workforce economy. They deserve better. This is about a holistic solution to house the workforce that is rebuilding the critical infrastructure. Today, I'm here representing a combination of 3 proven technologies. Ares Hydronics provides the heating and cooling for up to 10 modular structures at once, harnessing the magical power of water. We also have a combination with ThermoShade, which provides outdoor cooling structure to create a holistic, deployable community solution that can be deployed in just 1 day. We cut installation time by over 80% and build by 30% material cost. This is a fully integrated solution, and each one of these structures comes with over 100 sensors in each one of these homes that allows us to do grid stability, cycling energy off peak usage, taking energy off of the grid and putting it back into the customers and developers that need it the most. Okay, so the modular housing is a big industry. We need to build 2.5 million homes by 2030, and 1.3 million of those need to be affordable. I'm going after 5% of that market, giving us about a 910 million available serviceable market. How do we keep our costs down? We have a vertically integrated direct-to-consumer sales model. We have a warehouse here in South LA, and we control all of the supply chain with all of our permitting getting expedited within our in-site construction. We also are able to deploy most of the permitting in-house, which means that we have less time getting this out into the field, into the community that needs it right away, cutting the costs down exponentially. These are collapsible and deployable, and we have 3 different revenue streams. We have direct sales, and we have a lease to own, as well as a subscription service that we're calling Thermal as a Service. This is a very advanced monitoring system that is preventative and adaptive, that gives you warning when emergencies are on the way, which allows you to precondition your space into what we call resiliency mode, which is taking energy off of the grid and going into like a cooling mode and being able to save energy that way. We have proven pilots and community impact and real interest from over 30 million LOIs of developers and government agencies. We have about 3 million in non-dilutive capital, and we have about 10 pilots that are deployed to date. This is our team. I'm Helene Cornell from Aris Hydronics. I come from the construction industry, and I've been constantly disappointed with how complicated and fragmented construction is, especially in HVAC. My mom is a contractor. She handed me a sledgehammer when I was like 13 years old, which is probably against a lot of child labor laws. But we invented a solution for the world's first affordable housing, multifamily building decarbonization. We're flown to the Capitol to build a working prototype for the Department of Energy, and that's where I met Remo Holmes. And although he might be a SpaceX scientist, he is in the affordable housing world. Fully admit I'm not a scientist, I'm a blue-collar founder, but I am in there in the trenches, and I've been working with the trades for over 20 years. So I'm here today asking for your support in bringing this into the field. We believe that all homes deserve to be comfortable, livable, and safe. And let's give community the homes that they deserve in resiliency and grid utility. Thank you.
So it's great to hear from our first founder. Next we have Ground Up. So Ground Up, you want to come up? Use the clicker and then just come right there. Yeah, sorry. Well, actually 2 minutes for questions.
Yes, I actually
judges.
thought. Yeah, I thought that.
No worries.
Hi.
Who are your ideal customers?
Sure, it would be the government agencies, developers, nonprofits, and
Like a Habitat for Humanity?
Habitat for Humanity, FEMA, if they're available.
And who have you had pilot with? I actually live in Altadena,
Okay.
so this is a topic to my whole community.
No, thank you.
Who have you had pilot programs with?
Yeah, most of this has been research funded by Lawrence Berkeley Lab and Department of Energy, California Energy Commission. Hi, Eric.
Hi. Being in the space where you have a lot of supply chain across various regions, like how do you manage tariff risk?
Yeah, tariffs be tariffing. So we have a lot of in-house inventory, and we manufacture all of the key components in our warehouse in South LA. So the key science is actually built here in LA. And we've kind of kept the prices down to make it not as, relying on tariffs. Yes. Hi.
Thanks, great presentation. The permitting in-house, can you
Yes.
just kind of go over that? A little bit? How do you?
Yeah,
how you-
so this is all fire coded, up to current codes, everything has already passed codes before it even leaves the warehouse. And there's very strict, installation, and everything is all integrated in the warehouse before it even leaves. So by the time it gets to the site, the only thing we'd have to do is connect the hydronic line sets, which is a PEX pipe. And we use water, which is 3,500 times more efficient at delivering energy than air. And because there's no refrigerant inside the building envelope, we can use a general contractor or a plumber to install those line sets.
Where in Los Angeles are you?
Yeah, we're in South Central LA, our warehouse, yeah.
I mean, for your
Oh.
project.
We're not, we're getting it ready to go into the field, so we're just asking support for us to deploy this.
Yeah,
It's in a controlled warehouse right now,
location where you want to do it.
wherever you guys need us. So.
All right, that is all the time we
Okay.
have for questions.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. All right. Now we have roundup.
Yes, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Alvina. I'm an entrepreneur and a licensed general contractor, and I built hostels and 4 cities and a coffee shop. When I built my coffee shop, I realized how much waste comes from a single bean through the grinder into your portafilter and onto that knot box. Ultimately goes to the landfill. It doesn't get sorted. It actually creates methane and CO2. But how much of it? LA County has 800 coffee shops. I was just one of them at 10 pounds a day. But imagine if all of us created 10, which obviously Starbucks is going to create more. That's 8,000 pounds a day of coffee ground waste, just trash. And then that turns into 2.9 million pounds annually, just from the 800 LA County coffee shops alone. That's like 652 cars driving on our LA streets for a year, or raising 1,200 farting cows. That's the equivalent to just our coffee waste. And let's not even talk about that cup that you're drinking from. So it's like 20 minutes of a great brew for 20 years of decomposing. It just didn't really make sense to me. When LA County creates 3 million tons of garbage annually, and on your beaches, half of the trash that you see is plastic. It's so bad that LA County supervisors this past October filed a lawsuit against Pepsi and Coca-Cola saying, way too much plastic, and by the way, not that recyclable. So clearly a problem. But what can we do? What can we do about it? Well, I heard of coffee grounds are actually a filler for any plastic item. The cups actually are cellulose, could be put into with that to create wall panels. And our partner here, OceanWorks, they take marine-bound plastic, pelletize them as you see in your samples here, for mold injection machines. So we can actually reuse the waste and the plastic to create new sustainable products. And what would those products be? Molded goods. Instead of virgin, petroleum-based plastic, reuse the plastic, combined with coffee grounds, and wall clip panels that are more affordable than plywood. When I build my hostels, they're like $85 a sheet for a 4x8. Not to mention, every time I cut it, I'm breathing in formaldehyde, and that's deforestation. Now, our panels would be 85% coffee grounds and 15% cellulose. And it has been done in Germany, so we can do it too. And lastly, a raw pellet, so that as we have that ground up formula I was telling you about, of coffee grounds and RPP, recycled propylene, we can actually create our own pellet that manufacturers can use, the ground up formula. So, and by the way, going to these coffee shops is job creation, right? So these are people that can use EV vehicles to go to coffee shops and save Athens Services from collecting those grounds that they can't catch anyway. They can catch aluminum, they can catch glass, they can't catch this. They told me that it sips right through. So that definitely hits the landfills. So here's our molded plastic. These are the samples that you see. We have a mold injection machine. So what you see is 30% coffee grounds, 70% ocean safe plastic. And we can create anything equivalent in strength and durability as regular plastic. as you can see right here. That's our mold injection machine, that's our recycled PP, and I've gone up to 50% on coffee grounds with a little bit of sawdust, by the way, which goes back to a construction waste that we can use as a binder. The second is the wall panels. Now, we can do 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and this is used a hydraulic hot press. So the other mold injection machine, you're putting the mold through and you're injecting it at high pressure. A high press is just like a panini press, but you can make a wall panel out of it for the construction industry. And lastly, let's sell our formula to manufacturers so they can do better with their virgin plastic alternatives. It's a big market. It's a big market, you see it here, but we don't have to create a market. We just use the waste in the market to continue. We only see that it's growing. This is my AI integration. I used lovable.dev to create a website where you can type in any word and it'll generate what does a coffee ground material look like for your product so that you can buy it. You can also sign up as a coffee shop. We already have a few on board. Order a sample you can pick up at any one of our locations across 4 cities, and you can buy a few items that we already have molds of now. Me, I'm a general contractor, like I said, I'm in the construction industry, but because of that, I can include the wall panels into my projects as soon as our prototype is done. We already know the mold injection is possible. The panels will be next in a bigger market. We can put them in our hostels. I'm building a Culver City micro hotel. We can put in the walls. And I have a revocable permit with the city of LA to build a planter bench, which this material could be used for. So we have 3 projects right away we can implement. My partner, 25 years in mold injection. He's a polymer expert. He is a polymer expert. He has so many certifications. I used to work at Mercedes-Benz. So, 13 seconds to spare. I'll let you know this is job creation. This is environmental, sustainable products that anybody can mold or hot press, and the manufacturers could use as a pellet to continue the formula.
So you're gonna be taking this and making non-single-use material, right? So this is meant to be reusable, not back into this isn't recyclable.
It's reusable.
Okay, it's reusable, it's not degradable.
It's reusable but not degradable.
Right, sure.
The cellulose completely though.
Yeah.
The walls could be, because they're both a biodegradable products,
Yeah.
the cellulose. But the cellulose acetate can also be
You're trying to take it
biodegradable.
out of it.
Correct, yeah. And that's where OceanWorks does their part of the job with the blue economy that I don't really need to touch
Yeah,
because they're perfectly working with that.
You and Adolfo, you are the team, correct?
Correct.
And, but you're also operating a hostels, which I love, but I mean, if you're kind of pitching, you know, sell me that this is your focus. Because I see you doing other things as well, so.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur with experience in building a company from the ground up. I took
Yeah.
$15,000 and turned it to $3 million, so I know how to scale. As far as the manufacturing goes, we can already use that product in my existing spaces, so I don't have to wait for someone to buy the product. We can implement it next day as a proof of concept. So I think it's actually a benefit that I have this experience. As far as my other job, as you could
Yeah.
say, I have a great, like I employ 10 people and they do the job, so I can be here. I've been looking at my phone all day.
Okay.
So I'd say it's more of like a showroom opportunity than like a distractor in
Okay.
my eyes.
Okay.
How does the product, especially for the building, compare in price to existing?
Plywood?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chinese birch will run you anywhere from $85, and obviously you go makeup, maple, and everything will go up to 100, 200 a sheet. We believe that with our coffee, with this product, we can go about $60 for a sheet. And also, this is cheaper too. So when we get our RPP from OceanWorks, it's about 80 cents a pound. We feel that we can get up to like 60, 70 cents. And so it'll be a cheaper, because manufacturers want cheaper as sustainable product. They don't necessarily want to hear that it makes it more expensive. So we'll go cheaper from coffee grounds and glucose acetone.
So what's your competitive moat? Like, what's stopping someone else from coming to the market and create something similar at a lower price point? Like, what's your barrier?
Yeah, that's a good question, because yeah, anybody could grab an EV vehicle, go to local coffee shops, and then get a mold injection machine that we have, or a hot press, and create it. Yeah, so anybody could do it. I guess they haven't. Only in Germany they have, and so we would just be the first to do it. But could somebody do it? Yeah, it's a big operation. Our machines weighs 16 tons. Our molds are 800 pounds. I mean, it's a full manufacturing. It's not something you can make in your backyard. So you would have to have access to manufacturing facilities.
Do you have patents on it?
We don't have patents on it, but that's hopefully as we go through incubation stage and go through funding, that would be something we would definitely be doing. So this is pretty early on, but I've done enough tests in our facility to know that we do this, and the science in Germany proves that you could do 85-15 on the plywood as well. And the whole thing can be pelletized.
All the time we have for
Sorry.
questions. No, no worries at all. Thank you, Elvina. Great presentation. For our next contestant, we have Hamilton Perkins. Start him off with a round of applause.
Hi, my name is Hamilton Perkins. I'm founder of Hamilton Perkins Collection. We make award-winning products and materials. My first business was a magazine recycling business. I got shut down for it, but didn't let it stop me. I would go on to make products later made from repurposed materials, plastic water bottles, billboards, and a whole lot more. And that's why I essentially got close to the problem. I learned more about textiles. We were being hit up by a ton of companies that we should take their waste streams, but we really didn't have a way to do that. So we turned to chemistry and biology to make a patent pending process to upcycle textiles back into textiles. So we have a two-step process. We're using chemistry and biology. We have a solvent-based approach. We break down the hard-to-recycle materials, like the samples here. A lot of that comes right out of LA landfills. About 10% of the landfills here are textile-based. We break it down to monomers, and then we re-polymerize it and use an enzymatic upcycling process to create a novel biopolymer. We've turned to AI to further support our solution. We built a smart chat agent that allows us to match textile suppliers and waste providers to buyers on the other end. In addition to that, we have a printout which will let the client know what the waste is worth and help them turn trash and credit. So what do we make at the end of the day as a pellet? We provide a drop-in component for our clients to use as they go to make yarns, fabrics, and alternative leathers, and then they make the products that they want from that material. We came out of a fellowship called Lab Start. We got a chance to do customer discovery, which gave us an amazing opportunity to talk to about 100 potential customers and their procurement teams. And we asked them, what are you spending on this solution right now? We totaled it up, it came to about $4 billion. And what makes us unique, there's a lot of players in space, you'll probably know some of the names on here, but we found our wedge. If you're a corporate recycler, there's not gonna be as much specificity on the actual material that is coming out of the process. The chemical industry will be essentially the toll manufacturers for us. They'll manufacture the goods, and we're essentially closing the loop for the client. So the client wants to use their waste stream to make new materials. We have 2 revenue channels. We get paid for taking waste from clients, and then we sell it back to them in the form of the pellets on the table there. We're the team to do it because we've already generated about $1.5 million in revenue from about 20 Fortune 500 level clients. We've actually already attracted a pilot partner for our new process, where we have a signed supplier agreement. It's a luxury brand in the tier 1 space. And what we've done is we've actually taken a pilot through the California Product Stewardship Council here. We've been able to remove materials directly out of landfills and pilot our process. We're a Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubation Cohort 8 company, and this is the first sample. So far, we've been backed by Pharrell Williams, Hewlett Packard Enterprise Foundation, Techstars, Draper Family Foundation, where we were one of the winners of the UCLA Innovation Prize. Our team has about 75 years of experience across biology, chemistry, innovation. We essentially have been very crafty with our funding. We've been able to get a Department of Energy scholarship to fund our science work. We've been able to create green jobs. We use grants, and most recently we just onboarded engineers through UCLA. Right now we're focusing on our seed round. We've already got about 1.5 soft circled. We still have some open slots. And basically we need to set up a mini production line so that we can show our client what our capabilities are for about a $1 to $2 million contract potential order right now. From there, we know once we're in the door, we'll be able to work with them on a much larger scale and scale to offtake agreements. This is the timeline, so we'll unlock the PO, and from there we'll be able to characterize our materials. We'll ship the sample to the tier 1 customer. we'll essentially be able to co-develop with them at the kilogram scale, and from there be able to unlock an offtake agreement in Series A in 2 years. So in closing, we've already shown that we can turn trash to treasure and traction into returns, but now we're building waste to value. We're doing it here in LA. We're based downtown in the LaCrette Center. We need your help. We hope that you'll join us. And I'll open it up for any questions. Thank you for your time.
Great presentation, thank you so much. So is this going to be a single stream platform? You can take any type of textiles, or are you looking for certain types and then you turn them into the one-to-one recycling is like really tough in the textile market because of that, you know, that the viability of the resource. Like how do you turn all of the different waste streams, because we have no textile recycling at scale yet. So how are you gonna take all of that waste and turn it into waste?
Yeah, so right now we have a target material of PVC polyvinyl chloride. Within the textile space, there's about 40 million tons of it, about a 1% recycle rate. We have very consistent streams of it from not just fashion, but other industries. So that's our feedstock for the process. A lot of our competitors may use an agricultural feedstock. Our target output will be PHA, polyhydroxynone, which would essentially be a biopolymer that would have tunable properties for our end customers to use in their supply chains. And that's our first kind of like anchor. We have been receiving material transfers from companies here in California, here in Los Angeles, in other spaces. So once we get really good at that one, we'll expand to other materials.
So, yeah, so do you need the analysis? Do you need the spectrophotometric analysis of the materials? Like do you need to know the textile that you're receiving?
We do. Yeah, we need the spectroscopy. We need to get characterization equipment, and essentially that's part of our raise proceeds, because we've been able to, you know, demonstrate just at a small gram scale, okay, we can provide the pre-treatment, but we're working with some of the, potentially like working with the National Lab on CRADA to be able to further develop the technology and get it up to, let's say, 300 liters. But for now, we do need help on characterization, and we need help with ATR equipment with FTIR, so you know anybody, send them our way.
Yeah, that
We
could be
need
the
to
data
help.
play. The data play side is larger like the collection material side. Because there's some startups just working on that side, the spectrum side. So it's really interesting.
That's all the time we have for questions.
I'm sorry.
All right. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Community College District.
Hello, I hope everyone's doing well today. Good morning. We're excited to represent Professor Baldiwalas from Space to Sea Summit, where we don't just learn about business, we build one. And today we're not just talking about innovation, but rather giving hope for a generation of STEM students that believe technology and purpose can come together to build a better world. So I'm Natalie. I'm an electrical engineering and computer science major at Los Angeles Valley College.
I'm Athlete. I'm a computer science major at Los Angeles Valley College.
I'm Logan, and I'm a physics and civil engineering major at LNC. Unfortunately, Professor Baldiwala could not join us today, but she's here in spirit. She's an English professor who also teaches sustainable business for climate action at Westmoreland College, and is incredibly passionate about entrepreneurship and sustainability. With her vision, we are here to show what happens when fostered climate education, when it meets cutting edge technology.
So our pitch is from Space to Sea. Under Professor Baldiwala's mentorship, we use NASA TTU patents, which are basically consist of technology that NASA has used for space missions. But we could use these patents for the blue economy, which is an emerging sector that's using marine resources for economic growth and economic system health. But what makes the NASA T2U patents unique is that they actually help you use the patents and to start your business journey using them.
So last semester, we all participated in the AACC Innovation Challenge, where we used an entrepreneurial thinking to solve real-world problems using the NASA patents. So my team, for example, developed a water filtration system, which is this one, using a NASA patent, and we were able to tackle runoff and freshwater pollution. The patent that we used was filtering molecules with nanotube technology.
Natalie and I have a team, and our robot is shown on the right side, where we focused on creating, it's meant to prevent wildfires, especially after all the devastating fires we had in the past few years. We use the fire and flight patents that you can see on the end over there, but we could just as easily make an underwater version that could collect microplastics or monitor coral health. A real possibility through the wide variety of patents made available with this program, which after this we are now certified.
And then to take these student ideas even further, we can integrate Microsoft Azure by developing simulations like computer models or virtual environments that best implement decisions into coastal communities. So Azure can help us with model impact, predict maintenance, scale sustainability. So Azure gives us a platform to turn these student prototypes into real data-driven solutions.
So currently we are being supported by the LACCD Board of Trustees, MESA, the Math Engineering Science Achievement Program, Trustee Hednington, who's with us today, and then the California Center for Climate Change Education. As of last year, the blue economy is projected to hit $3 trillion by 2030, and the future starts with students. So today, young innovators who care deeply and think boldly. Through the Sustainable Business for Climate Action course taught by Professor Baldiwala, her students were able to develop full business plans and with financial projections, competitor analysis, and a pathway to scalability. Now imagine if hundreds, even thousands of students had the same opportunity. That's why we're calling for an LA-wide student summit on the blue economy, which is a gathering that empowers students to combine STEM, sustainability, and entrepreneurship with real resources and real impact.
As is, identifying, understanding regulations, and securing funding can be an overwhelming and difficult task. So Professor Baldiwala's proposal needs experienced engineers, NASA personnel, and Microsoft leads to help this revolutionary learning experience. By forming relationships between professionals and students, we can encourage the next generation of entrepreneurs and engineers to develop skills.
So Professor Baldiwala's class and the AACC Challenge weren't just exercises but launch pads. With your support, Microsoft Azure, and NASA T2U patents, we can take these sustainable ideas even further. All we need is a chance to come together, to learn, to build, to protect what we love, and from space to sea, a student summit, let's build a better world together. Thank you, guys.
So as I say, you're a bridge from the NASA patents to many in this room who are looking at creating the next, the startups that are really going to solve a lot of the issues we have throughout the environment, correct? So you're making the NASA patents more identifiable and more accessible and explaining it so that the rest of us can take it out into the world and do what we want. Okay, I just wanted to understand.
Yeah,
Good job.
When is your summit coming up for the students?
We don't have any exact plans, so here we're trying to promote it so that it would be made possible. But LACCD has hosted several different types of similar programs. We recently had a couple of hackathons this past semester, or earlier this year and last year, where they gathered all of the colleges in our district and hosted a large overnight hackathon event for people to create different programs. So it would be something similar where students would have the opportunity to work together and build programs or actual products and have engineers be able to put in their efforts.
So what would make that ours different is that we're focusing on the blue economy and also introducing those NASA patents for students to use and to create like actual real life products.
How many teams have gone through this program?
This program, like the NASA patents?
Yeah, through professor's mentorship.
Like 3 to 5 teams she mentored.
she has a whole class, so in her course that she had all of her students create their own products using the patents, and then create a business plan as we mentioned. So they then had to learn how to actually promote her product and make it a real thing. Alright, that's all the time we have for questions. Next, presenting is SAR Recycling. And let's get started.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. In the early 1970s, environmentalism had a moment. We had a first Earth Day, saw pieces of landmark environmental legislation, and the iconic phrase, reduce, reuse, recycle was born. Now, nearly 60 years later, we are in the midst of a crisis. Every year we see 160 million tons of recyclable material going into our nation's landfills, affecting our soil, water, and air quality, and impacting communities that are the most vulnerable. My name is Shami Cole, and I come from one of those communities. I'm an immigrant from Nigeria, I'm a former San Bernardino resident, and for the last 6 years, a proud Angelino. Today I present to you SAR Recycling. We're a clean tech company that builds and deploys autonomous recycling units that can pay you to recycle and capture data on what you recycle to better understand consumer behavior and also monetize it. We offer a 3-part solution suite: the SAR Bin, the SAR mobile app, and SAR Stream, a client-facing web platform. Our bin is a 5-foot by 5-foot steel cage unit. The bin uses AI-powered object recognition integrated with Azure to take the confusion out of recycling. Items placed in the bin are instantly identified via a lens inside the bin, and we sort the material: glass, plastic, aluminum, as well as food waste. We place them into cleaner streams, so a smaller bin was inside the bin. Working as a part of a multi-bin network, each bin is capable of providing live stream insights, everything disposed into it, translating that information into usable data for more efficient and effective cost for waste operations. We were able to service universities, municipalities, private venues, shopping areas, as well as grocery stores. We were able to service universities in particular, giving them real-time data through our SAR Stream client platform. We were able to provide information on waste volume levels. We're also able to give waste composition streams as well, and diversion rate data in real time. We're also able to provide predictive analytics on bin performance. We provide fullness sensing for bin capacity, alerting clients when a bin needs collection. And we're also able to create an optimized pickup route, so you only have to service the bins that are in need of collection, saving money on the number of deployed staff, so labor costs, as well as boosting efficiency for your waste management operations. We also can support sustainability reporting. And best of all, we pay users to recycle. With our downloaded app, you can earn just from recycling. You're able to just place the material inside of a bin, tap the bin like it's Apple Pay, and you're on your way with your rewards. Consider the app like Venmo. You're able to transfer earnings directly to your bank account, donate it to local charities in the area, connect it to micro-investing platforms like Acorn, Robinhood, or Stash, and you're also able to connect to crypto integration options. Our business model is simple. We serve 2 main stakeholders: everyday people who use our bin for their normal waste needs. These folks pay nothing to use our bins. And institutions like universities and municipalities pay a monthly leasing price per bin per month. The bin and the mobile app feature advertising space. The web platform acts as a data dashboard that provides base level data metrics with premium information that you can also pay for as well. And last but not least, we also sell the data that we collect to beverage companies for more insights on material consumption as well as sales retargeting. The US waste management market is a $59 billion industry, but smart recycling still remains underdeveloped. We're aligned with California's SB 1383 and AB 827, which requires businesses and institutions to reduce waste, track contamination, as well as provide compliance proof. Cities and campuses are facing growing fines, audits, and reporting burdens, and SAR is positioned to solve these challenges at scale. Ladies and gentlemen, we are building the Tesla of trash cans and making waste sexy, with a data-driven approach. We have been able to build a functional prototype, tested with over 500 users, secured interest from popular institutions like UCLA, Santa Monica City College, as well as the Rose Bowl for short-term pilots. We've also been able to secure corporate sponsors and design our unit to meet LA's pressing environmental goals, as well as waste-related expenditures. We've built a network of support from leaders across the climate tech landscape, as well as folks in environmental justice, and built a community of over 1,000 beta testers and supporters interested in seeing us take this to the next level. I could not do this without my incredible team, and I have the pleasure of working with teammates that have experience in the beverage industry, building hardware products, and the data monetization space. Folks, the future of recycling and waste management starts today. Help me build it with today's investment. Thank you.
Now we can open the floor to questions.
Happy to walk over here a little bit.
You say you're lining up pilot programs. Do you have anything out in the field right now?
Yes, so we actually have, in Riverside, California, we've been able to develop a prototype, which we've again tested with over 500 users. We've also brought the prototype to LA, tested with a variety of small coffee shops as well. We're aiming to do a kind of a pilot tour in the fall, bringing it across more colleges and universities in this area. But we're looking for an investment so that we can actually build a second version of our prototype.
Okay, and what does that cost to build what your prototype?
So the initial MVP was actually $4,000. We were kind of fumbling around trying to figure it out. But we've actually been able to get a lot of mentorship to build the next iteration of the unit, and we're anticipating it'll look a little closer to 1,500.
Piggyback on that, what's the margin you get on? I know you have 3 different products, like 2 of them are web-based and one's actual bin. Like blended, what's the margin across?
In terms of margin, we're looking at something like, from what we've been able to analyze, it's something like 40 to 60%. When we're looking at all the chances for revenue with the product, one, of course, there's the advertising on the unit. There's also the unit itself in terms of the leasing per bin per month. The bins work essentially in a network, right? So all the data that's being collected is fed to you as a client, where you're able to use the StarterStream platform and essentially see all the different analytics from your waste management services. Something I love to say is, when you're using the platform itself, we can let you know what bins need to be taken care of at what particular time. So instead of having your staff go to every single bin on a particular campus or a large private venue, we can let you know specifically which ones need to be taken care of. So instead of having 10 waste management staff, you can have 2. You put the other folks to better use with other work in particular.
So following on to that, what would be the typical ROI for the consumer?
The consumer. So you as a person just using the bin, you're able to get money from recycling essentially, right? And so versus the typical your recycling experience right now, you're able to not really get too much value or benefit. Maybe you care about the environment, and so you want to do your part. But we're aiming to talk to people or engage people that are recyclers and non-recyclers as well. We want to influence your behavior around sustainability and make sure that whenever you see one of our bins, you know that you can get value from it instantly, right? Again, I talked about you're able to place the material into the bin and tap it like it's Apple Pay, and you're on your way with your rewards. And those rewards can be utilized for a variety of different things.
That's all the time we have for questions, guys. For our last presentation, we have Shining Light. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hi everyone, I want to thank you for your time and having us here today. This is our project, Shining Light on Quantum Biology, where we dedicated over 8 weeks exploring quantum biology and plant floral class to uncover nature's blueprint for near-perfect energy efficiency. We represent the biotechnology program at Los Angeles Mission College, and the highlight of the program is workforce development, where 90% of students land a job offer within just the first semester. Our team members include Dr. Aurora, who is the program director of the biotechnology program. She has her PhD in biochemistry and master's in plant physiology.
And I'm Jesse Partida. I have a certificate in biotechnology. I also am an aspiring physicist. I am currently pursuing my bachelor's in physics. And I'm also currently a manufacturing technician at Grifols Biological. which I was able to secure with the help of Dr. Aurora and her biotechnology program directly.
So to the Estrada, I have my associate's degree in horticulture and plant biotechnology, among other associates, and I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's in biomanufacturing. This is a glance of our project, of our methods, our data. We won't go into depth of it, but Jesse will give a brief summary of what we did and why it's important.
I also want to briefly mention on that slide, that's also a direct product of the biotechnology program, so that was with the help of Dr. Aurora. So anyways, in our project, we investigated photosynthesis, which is nature's iconic green energy system of turning sunlight into energy. It has been shown that plant chloroplasts are 85 to 95% energy efficient, which is actually absurd. By comparison, solar panels in cars are only about 20% energy efficient or fuel efficient, and that's on the higher end. I like this comparison to solar panels because they have a very similar way of turning sunlight into energy, yet there's this huge unaccounted for discrepancy. And this is what we look for specifically in our project. We wanted to know why plants are so much more efficient than solar panels. In the end, what we found is that the quantum phenomenon, such as quantum tunneling, coherence, just like buzzwords, but quantum phenomena are behind this near perfect energy efficiency. And so we hope to utilize these quantum phenomena, I'll just call them quantum for now, we hope to utilize quantum to revolutionize our current energy systems, and our main focus is bio-inspired solar cells, where we close this gap between the 20% and 95% energy efficiency. Some other alternatives though, besides just solar panels, we can apply this to batteries, make more efficient batteries than quantum batteries. And in nuclear energy, we can optimize nuclear fusion, specifically nuclear fusion, which is a greener, safer, and cleaner version of nuclear fission, a new nuclear energy source. Outside of energy, these are other applications. There's still cool potential avenues that we can apply our research to, such as in the medical industry, we can use quantum to help in the delivery of medication into patients. And in quantum crops, we can have a quantum understanding of plants and farming, which will lead to more efficient agriculture.
So if we were able to utilize this near perfect energy efficiency in plant chloroplasts, it would lead to a better use of resources for a higher energy output while reducing waste and carbon footprint. Utilizing AI, we were able to generate a model for our savings, and we found that if we were to increase solar panel energy efficiency just by 10%, that would save LA County $660 million annually and $6 billion for the state of California. The actual discrepancy is 70%, and that would lead to 7 times more savings.
We also plan to incorporate our biotech program, our research, into the LA County School District, where we can empower STEM education and provide a streamlined workforce development system, which one more slide.
I can just say it.
There you go.
So what the roadmap looks like is we want to apply our project to a wider variety of ecosystems, photorespirative organisms such as algae, and discover what organism is our best option. Our next is to utilize Azure OpenAI for possible quantum pathways and generate model data. And with our data, we want to train AI to help growers. For example, it can help farmers utilize crops that are using sunlight more efficiently. We want to obtain funding through stipends and investors for advanced equipment, increase workforce development through partnerships and training, like Jesse mentioned earlier, through utilizing school systems. And in the end, we want to create a cleaner, greener future.
We'll make sure to share the full slides with the judges after, just in case in the audience as well. So now we're opening the floor to questions.
just a more theoretical question. If photosynthesis has been around for, you know, a very long time, why hasn't this use case been applied to your context? Just from your video, I'm curious.
Well, it hasn't been applied because quantum phenomena specifically, they're very hard to work with directly. In our research, we didn't do direct interactions with these quantum phenomena. We kind of look for like placeholders, if the conditions are right for these quantum phenomena. But I guess in the future, we want to utilize whatever the plants are using to use their quantum mechanisms and incorporate that into our the energy systems.
And just to kind of piggyback on that a little bit, like, do you have a sense of the cost and kind of the price of all this needed to kind of make this next step?
So, quantum systems in a laboratory settings, from what I understand, they're very, very high tech. I guess, okay, maybe not going into lab settings. We want to utilize things like X-ray diffraction and maybe electron microscopy. So specifically with the electron microscopes, those can be between the range of a couple thousand, but the higher end ones can be like several hundred thousands. We don't need the higher end ones, so maybe a couple thousands for electron microscopy to get more data and more research going on that end.
Yeah, that's a great presentation. Thanks. So what are the other inputs and outputs that you think would go into the tech?
Exactly.
Like the inputs and outputs for, you know, using photosynthesis as a mechanism. Like, yeah, there's a lot. It's all about that cost of what goes into it.
From what I'm getting, maybe for inputs, maybe incorporating a wider selection of maybe plant samples, or am I on the right track? Question. For more samples, we could use instead of plants.
I meant more for the ongoing operations. Like, what else is going to be needed to run it?
Oh, I see. So yeah, like those two that I mentioned, the X-ray diffraction, electron microscopy.
Quantum far, it measures the photons that come off the sun.
And then also, like for our research project, it was actually pretty accessible. We just use TLC chromatography and spectrometry. Those are just like little like portable devices and like paper strips, basically. So that's pretty replicable, and we can just apply that to a wider range of data sets. So in terms of that, like in the immediate future, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah, so like the hardware cost is relatively, you're expecting that to be lower than
Yeah,
current.
at least initially, yes.
That's all the time we have for questions. Let's give another round of applause. So now our judges are going to go and deliberate. And for now we have just 15 minutes. If you guys want to go, grab some more coffee, grab some